So in this project we're going to make a pizza maker. The pizza maker has 3 buttons or more buttons. On the left here with your ingredients and a pizza on our table. We hit the button and it adds the ingredient to our pizza. So there's one example of a pizza maker, and here's another example another student made. You can have whatever ingredients you'd like to put onto your pizza. Alright, so we'll start with the starter file. Inside of the starter file we have a tablecloth picture, we have a pepperoni ping, we have a mushroom ping, and then we have a pan movie clip object that is a picture inside. So first things first, let's add our tablecloth to our stage. Go over to the properties for our tablecloth and set his XY position to 0, 0 and his width and height to the exact size of the stage. So he's exactly correct. Alright, let's add our pan to the stage. So we'll put our pan right about here. And now let's draw our pizza. So to draw our pizza we'll use our oval tool. So we'll add a fill color that looks more pizza-like. And we can even use a radial gradient. So we could use our radial gradient here and then choose colors that are more pizza-like looking. So kind of choose about there. And we'll go ahead and draw our oval. We can hold down the shift key to make a perfect circle. So as we're dragging, if we hold down that shift key, it makes it more into a perfect circle. Alright. We can now lock that layer. This could be our table layer. And we can add a new layer to our stage. And let's start adding our ingredients. So this could be our mushroom layer. We'll start adding our mushrooms to the stage. Now to draw our mushrooms, I'm going to go ahead and use the spray can tool. In order to use our spray can tool that is underneath the brush tool, our spray brush tool, we will need to make him into a movie clip. So I'm going to drag an instance of him to the stage, and since I'm on a Mac I have to right click and say convert symbol. If you're on a PC you can just press the F8 key, and I'm going to name him Mushroom with a capital M because it's customary to name our movie clips with capital letters. We press OK. Now I can delete him from the stage and he is in my library. I'll need to do one other thing to that mushroom. I will need to make him a little bit smaller so that when I use my spray can, they're not gigantic mushrooms. So I'll make him a little bit smaller. So I double clicked on my mushroom to edit him, use my free transform tool to make him a little bit smaller. Go back to scene 1. Now I can choose my spray can tool, and my spray brush tool is underneath the brush tool. So if I press on the little black triangle and choose spray brush tool, now I'll go over to properties of my spray brush tool and choose edit and choose that mushroom object I just created. I can do random scaling so all my mushrooms can be different sizes. I can randomly rotate them. And then if I don't want it to spray so large of a circle, I could make my circle a little bit smaller, my height and width. And now I can use my spray brush tool, and I suggest just clicking and spray some mushrooms onto my pizza. Okay, that looks good. So I forgot I needed to lock my table layer so that my mushrooms stay on my own layer. Because now I'm going to use a Command A to select all of my mushroom objects that are on the mushroom layer. And I'm going to do actually on a PC it was Control A for select all, and on a Mac it's Command A. And then Control G or Command G to group them all together into one object. Now I'm going to make them into a movie clip object so that I can animate them. So I'm going to right click, say convert to symbol. You guys on PCs can just press the F8 key, and I'm going to name it mushrooms with an S, capital M. Okay. Now I'm going to need to animate him on his own timeline. So I'm going to double click him. Now I'm animating him on his own timeline. I see his own timeline up here. There's timeline down here. I'm going to move him off the stage, and I would like to add a tween to him, but remember, to add a tween to anything, it needs to be a movie clip. So here's where we make him his inner movie clip object. So we convert to symbol again, and we call this inner mushrooms. Capital I. We now can right click him and say create motion tween. Creates the motion tween down here on the bottom of the stage. I'll then want to add a new layer, actually 2 more layers. This will be my labels layer because I'm going to make some labels on my timeline, because I'm going to need some code to animate him with the button click. And then this will, of course, will be my actions layer, where I'm going to add my action script code. Alright, so let's add the tween first. So the tween is here on this keyframe, starts out on the right side of the stage. I want him to fly in and be on the pizza at this point in my stage, so I move my playhead over. I then take the mushrooms, and my tween is created. I could edit my tween and make him fly different ways, or I could rotate him if I click on my tween, as you saw in one of those videos, if I wanted to rotate my mushrooms as they're flying in. Okay, so then my mushrooms can rotate and fly into my pizza. Okay. Now I want to add some action script to this timeline, and I want the mushrooms to stop on frame 1 so they don't just fly in. Because if I run my animation now, if I hit Command Enter or Control Enter and I run my animation, notice it just keeps playing. So I want to add a stop command right here on frame 1. So I'll open up my actions pane and I'll create a stop on frame 1. That's all we need on frame 1. Now we want the button to click and them to fly in. So I'm going to have to add a label on frame 2 that will tell my code where to start letting them fly in. So I'll need to add a blank keyframe here so that I could make a label on this frame. I then come over here to my properties, make sure you have the frame clicked, and name that frame Go. I then come to the end of my my frames here, and here's where I want it to stop again so that they don't repeat and come back to frame 1. I need a stop command here as well. So remember to insert a blank keyframe, because you could only write action script on blank keyframes. Then go to actions and write stop. Alright, that looks great. So he'll stop on the first frame. In my code, I'll tell him to go to frame Go, start playing, and then he'll get to the end frame, and then it'll tell him to stop again. Alright, now let's make our button.